Hi, and welcome to the To Be Read podcast, where we give honest reviews on viral books that you may have seen on social media and popular book review websites. This is Chris.
And Carison, and on today's episode, we will be discussing Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. So cozy on in, and let's see if you should add this book to your TBR shelf. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the To Be Read podcast. This is Carison and Chris, and we just finished Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, and I have just got to say, best book we've read so far.
I completely agree.
In our over a year of doing this podcast and our social media page, this is definitely the best one that we've done an episode on.
Yeah, and not to jump ahead in what we're going to talk about, but it is our first book that I think have agreed on when it came to stars. I think we actually both did 4 stars for the last one, but it is also our first 5-star read.
Woo!
Woo!
Confetti! Woo!
So,
Fireworks!
yeah, seriously though, if this is not on your TBR, it definitely should be.
yeah, yeah. This was such a good read, which we'll get into why we feel that way. But first, let's read what the synopsis is. Remarkably Bright Creatures. After Tova Sullivan's husband died, she began working the night shift at the Sewell Bay Aquarium, mopping floors and tidying up. Keeping busy has always helped her cope, which she's been doing since her 18-year-old son Eric mysteriously vanished on a boat in Puget Sound over 30 years ago. Tova becomes acquainted with curmudgeonly Marcellus, a giant Pacific octopus living at the aquarium. Marcellus knows more than anyone can imagine, but wouldn't dream of lifting one of his 8 arms for his human captors, until he forms a remarkable friendship with Tova. Ever the detective, Marcellus deduces what happened the night Tova's son disappeared, and now Marcellus must use every trick his old and invertebrate body can muster to unearth the truth for her before it's too late. Shelby Van Pelt's debut novel is a gentle reminder that sometimes taking a hard look at the past can help uncover a future that once felt impossible. With over 1 million ratings, Goodreads has this at 4.36 stars. And we have already let you guys know, but this was 5 stars for both Chris and I. So we have also had a higher rating than Goodreads twice now.
Yep.
Which we marked that off already on our bingo, but now we can mark it off twice.
Whoop, whoop.
What made you give this book a 5-star?
I just felt like it was really well written, and I feel like there was moments where you were really drawn in, and you're just like, oh my god, what? And then there were moments where it was really heart-wrenching, and then there were moments where I'm laughing. And Marcellus is quite a hilarious character, in my opinion. I love him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I feel like it had really good writing style. It was easy to follow, and the overall story was just so captivating that I didn't want to stop reading it.
Yeah. And I think another point that's really good is you as the reader found out pretty early on, I guessed before it was officially revealed by Marcellus, but you find out pretty early on that what was the guy's name?
Are you talking about Cameron?
Yes. You find out that Cameron and Tova are related. So it's definitely a you as a reader know, and you're waiting for the characters to find out, and Marcellus has figured this out. Basically, just
Quickly.
by context, yeah. And so as a reader, you're you normally when you find these things out, like the big surprise early on, it's kind of a letdown and you're just like, whatever. That's how I am. But reading this, you were like trying to be like, okay, how is an octopus who can't speak going to reveal this to them? Like, and then you get points of like, maybe they're gonna find out through the grocery store worker. Oh, and then it doesn't work out because things keep happening where he's gonna tell them that what he thinks, but then like something else happens and they get interrupted, or you know, Marcellus is trying to like figure out how to hand them the ring, and then Cameron like throws it into the eel tank, and you're just like, oh, you're so close to like figuring it out, and
Yeah,
it's
and I
just
felt
like,
like she did such a great job at like making you feel like it was finally gonna happen and then it didn't. Like I did never
yes,
feel like, okay, well this is gonna be another failed attempt, you know? And so
yes,
like every time you're just like, oh no, almost there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what about the cover? Because I didn't make a guess because I knew what the synopsis of the book was.
Right. So, I mean, mine was wrong,
It was.
but uh, I, I read the synopsis off obviously after we podcast, and I was like, "Woo, I was really wrong." But I mean, it. I love the cover. Now that I've read the book, at first I was just kind of like, "Meh, it's pretty, it's colorful," but like now that I know what the book's about, the cover is so perfect. It even like gives the vibe of the story. I was honestly kind of nervous after reading the synopsis. I was like, man, how is this book going to be good? You know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and because I thought that it just sounded a little campy. But like the way that she wrote, and I had no idea that you would get Marcellus's point of view. And so I think that that's what I love so much.
Yeah,
I got so excited every single time I saw a chapter where it was his point of view.
yeah. And it's also hard because you fall in love with his character basically from the get go.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, he's not sarcastic, but he's like, just the way he's like talking, like, yeah, I know I'm gonna die soon, but whatever.
They call me a smart cookie. I don't know why they keep calling me after a snack, a human snack.
Yeah.
I
Because
have a
he's,
favorite line from him, and it just like I literally laughed out loud at work because we all do it. And it's where he's talking about how humans talk about the weather so often. And he's like, I think on average, I hear it about 1.5 times a day at the least. And he's like, I don't understand. That would be like me swimming up to another sea creature and asking, these bubbles look quite normal today. I just died laughing because it is like that. Hmm, more bubbles in the tank today, huh?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
like, oh my God, we all do that because it's small talk. But the fact that, like, from a creature that doesn't live in our world outside looking in, it's just hilarious.
yeah. And I think you kind of get his personality from the very first line of the book, which is darkness suits me.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, oh dang, like what is this, like what kind of book is this going to be? Like, is this like a dark, not like a dark in like a evil type way, but dark in like mentality type, because he's an old octopus, which old in octopus years is 4 years old. His type of octopus only lives up to 4 years
Yep.
on average, so
And he's very
that's not.
aware of that.
Yes, yeah, because you even in his at the start of every one of his chapters, it says how many days he's been in captivity. Um, and an average octopus lives up to, what was it, 1,400 days?
I
Yes.
don't
Yeah,
remember off the
I
top of
think
my head.
that's what it was. And his like you start off the book at like 1,200 and some odd days.
Yeah.
Um
He's like
so
counting
he's
down the days.
till his death. But he's such like his humor is like I take it as like people have like dark humor when they lose someone and they're going through grief
Yeah.
and they have that that's like Marcellus to me. He has that dark humor. Like but it's just delivered in such a good way
Yeah, it
that
doesn't feel morbid.
yeah, yeah. And it gives you like the hope of like, well, maybe he'll last longer. And honestly, we don't know when he dies because he gets let back out into the ocean,
Yep.
and that's all we hear from him is the day he finally gets set free, and then we don't hear anymore. Which he's basically feels like he's gonna have like a week left, if that. Um, but I like how she didn't allow the reader to actually know when he died.
Yeah,
It
I'd
gives
agree with
it
that.
gave you that it gave you that little bit of hope of maybe he lived longer.
Yeah, I do find it funny though how like in the beginning of the book he talks about how living in a small space suits him because the big tank it's too much swimming and it tires him out. Which I mean, he's an
Mm-hmm.
old boy for
Yeah.
for his species. And so it makes sense. But then so like the whole book I was like, I know that he's going to be let back out in the ocean before his
Yeah.
passing at some point, right? And so because that stuck in my brain when he finally got let back into the ocean, I was like, oh my God, he's going to be so like,
Shell shocked.
yes, small spaces suit me. But I mean, he likes to walk, I guess. He likes to crawl around rather than swim. He'd rather crawl than swim because he does let himself out every night, also.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there anything you didn't like or you wanted more of?
Um, so I don't know. Part of me was like wanting a little bit more of. So I listened to the book, and
Mm-hmm.
by the way, the narrator did a wonderful job. The different characters, the one that has like the Irish accent or whatever.
I
Um,
know what was his name. The grocery store guy.
yeah, yeah. Who like honestly I kind of loved him. Uh, but like I kind of wanted to know like what his story was a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Then but like it didn't really like give anything to the story, which is why you don't know more about him than what was given, but like I don't know, he was kind of hilarious. When did you finish the book?
Um, Last week
Okay.
on Friday. Ethan is the grocery store guy.
Ethan. See, there's like Eric and Ethan, Cameron.
Yeah. Um, Besides the three main characters, which I would say are the three main characters you get the point of views from, which is Tova, Marcellus, and Cameron. So besides those three, who was your second favorite character?
You said Tova, Marcellus, and Ethan? Or
Not
Cameron?
Ethan. Cameron.
Okay, I was like, I don't think we got an Ethan point of view.
We didn't. I didn't. Anyways.
I kind of loved Ethan, honestly. I know that, like, honestly, his character just kind of cracked me up, and he's kind of just a busybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of loved him. I feel like he added, like, a really good depth to the story.
Yeah.
But also,
Um.
the narrator did such a beautiful job with the accent that, like, I could have just listened to it the whole time.
So was it a female or a
Hmm.
male who was
It
the?
was a
Okay.
female.
Okay. Interesting. Did she do like a voice change for Marcellus?
No.
Okay. Okay.
So, but I
My
also go ahead.
my favorite side character was actually the Nitwits.
Okay, I was actually gonna say, I was like, I also kind of loved the Nitwits.
They were funny.
Yeah, I tend to like really cling on to the comedic relief, and I tried so hard not to because I loved Marcellus so much.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like I just like chaos incarnate, typically those type of characters in like anything, but the Nitwits were funny.
Yeah.
And so
So was there anything you didn't like?
I felt so bad about Leroy. Is that his name? Her brother who passed in the like home or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that like she was like, "We don't talk." And they were like, "Well, are you going to pick up his stuff?" And she was like, "There was nobody else. It's just me." He died alone with a nurse.
Lars. His name was Lars.
Lars. Why did I think it was Leroy? But like I just felt so bad at that moment. I was like, "Oh no." But
Yeah.
I don't know. The very beginning of the book talked a lot about like loss and trauma and losing somebody and coping with that and that kind of stuff. I was nervous that this book was actually going to trigger me a little bit because it is her son that like
Yeah.
she lost, and because of me and my anxieties,
Yeah.
I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to finish the book, but it was not
Mm.
triggering at all, which I was very grateful about.
Yeah. And I think a good, not a good, I think a reason for that, um, at least for me, would be because we don't actually know fully what happened to Eric. Like, you don't get that scene of what happened that night, or if he really did it himself, or if he was killed, or whatever happened to make him disappear. Which I think if you would have gotten that scene, then it would have been a big a bigger trigger than what it could have been.
I agree.
Which you get like hints of like this is what she did throughout the book that I really enjoyed as well is she gave you hints of like what could have possibly happened with different scenarios, not only with Eric, but at the end with Ethan and Tova's relationship,
Yeah.
or like I said earlier with Marcellus' end of life where he got in the ocean, you don't know what happened after that, is she left it open ended. So the reader can interpret it to kind of be whatever they wanted it to end up as, if that makes sense.
Hmm. No,
Um,
I kind of love, like, honestly, this book was just written so beautifully. And so I like that she didn't tell you what to think. She gave you stepping stones, and you're the one who had to pick the direction, really.
yeah, which is so refreshing because you don't get that a lot in books nowadays. So she kind of like made it for what I feel like reading is supposed to be, where it's kind of left to your interpretation afterwards.
Yeah. I wonder, I wonder, like, the people who didn't rate this 5 stars, what their complaints were, you know?
Yeah, we could
That's,
totally look on Goodreads, but I don't want to dim my mood with how I liked it.
I know. Seriously, though, like, go read it.
No, I 100% think I actually had a friend today posted on her Instagram. She was like, I just finished a book I was reading. I need recommendations. And I immediately was like, Remarkably Bright Creatures, 10 out of 10, recommend it. So good. And then, like, her next slide was like, these are the books on my TBR. And Remarkably Bright Creatures was one of them. I messaged her on that one too. I was like, this is a sign because I just told you to do this one and it's on your
Yes.
TBR. You have to do it.
You have to do it. Uh,
And she messaged me back and she was like, yeah, so many people were saying this one. I already got the book and I'm excited to get it.
Good, good. Yeah, honestly, um, because I know that you also do, but because we primarily read romance, like, and I typically read fantasy, this has been a really great, like, change of pace for something that I love and want other people to love that is
Mm-hmm.
not in either of those genres.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's so hard because, like, I know so many people who ask me for book recommendations, and I'm like, I read a romance book. Like, you're not going to like what I read, which is fine. But then it's hard because they're like, well, I need a book suggestion. And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. You don't like romance books. Like, I'm sorry. Uh, So, doing this podcast and us choosing different genres each time gives me some books to recommend to people. And so, I'm very excited to have one that we actually really enjoy to recommend to other people.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
I literally had someone at work today who was like, what kind of genres do you like? And I was like, I read romance. And that's like a 50-year-old dude. And I'm just like, you don't want to read what I read. I'm sorry. Because he's asking me, he's like, have you read this book and this book? And it's all like, not not romance books.
No.
Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Never heard of that book before. Sorry, man.
Yeah, well, in most of the fantasy books that I read, with like the exception of like a handful, like Lord of the Rings, are all romanticities.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some type of romance in there.
Yeah.
It's just, you like what you like. But I loved this.
Yeah. I did too. I can't say enough good things about this book.
Yeah, I loved the main character. She was awesome.
Tova.
Yeah,
I want to be like her when I get her age.
seriously.
And the fact that, like, she actually didn't need to be working, apparently, but she never cashed her paychecks. Um, and she just did this just because she wanted to. She just wanted to clean and be out of the house and
Have something to do.
work it. I know. I was like,
I did find it
dang,
funny
how?
that Cameron was like, man, this old lady is hoisting food into the tanks and I feel like I'm dying.
I know. Yeah. And I was so speaking of Cameron and Tova, um, so for our listeners, it's not that big of a spoiler because, like I said, you find out very early on. Um, Cameron's dad is Eric. Um, Eric obviously died before he knew that this Eric's mom was Cameron's mom was pregnant, and Cameron's mom left him when he was 9 with his aunt, so he grew up with his aunt. Uh, and he thinks he finds out who his dad is, and then goes to Souls Bay to try to find his dad. And in the meantime, he gets a job at the aquarium because he's broke and poor dude is having a rough go at life.
Yeah,
And
a little bit of a deadbeat when you first meet him.
yes, um, and he develops this relationship with Tova because Tova falls and gets hurt and can't work, and she still shows up to the aquarium when she's not supposed to. And they develop a friendship first, and then, the whole book is Marcellus trying to get them to figure out that they're related. So I loved getting to see their relationship grow before they found out that they were related. So then they could be like, oh, this is why we get along. Like, we're so similar because we're related.
Yeah, when they finally got it though, like I kind of wanted to cry a little bit because I was like, oh, finally.
I know. It's the hard thing that you sometimes get when it comes to books where people find relatives that they've been searching for is it's very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that way because it
I
was kind of just like,
I didn't feel like it was super climactic,
yes,
but it
yes, I will
wasn't
say that.
anticlimactic either.
Yeah. And I think it's because she had them build that relationship beforehand. It was sad when he found out that the guy he thought was his dad wasn't his dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because the guy, I don't remember his name. I was mad. Some rich dude was like, I knew your mother. We were best friends. And I'm just like, then how? If you knew she was best friends, and then he asked the guy. Cameron asked him
I
when
know.
was the last time you saw her, and he was like, oh, a handful of years ago. I'm just like, if you were best friends, how did you not know that she had a kid?
Yeah, especially a handful of years ago. Like, that means that she would have had the kid already.
Yeah, because he
They
was in
knew
his
each
30s.
other when she was probably pregnant. And so, and like, wouldn't he have recognized his name?
His last name, he did.
But that's what I'm saying is
When
that, like, so, because he struggled so hard to even just get in, he had to lie to, like, get an interview.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think of that because he told him I recognized your name, his last
But
name,
he
and it
struggled to
took him.
even just, like, get anybody to answer.
Huh. I didn't think of that. There's a reason I didn't like him, and I was glad it wasn't his dad.
Yeah, I didn't like him. At first, I did think that he was his dad. Like, oh, he must have done some research and he's hard to get a hold of because he doesn't want to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So, obviously, we both recommend this book, and um, we've already stated that our bingo board, we got to mark off that we both rated this a 5 star. It's our first 5 star read together.
Yay! We still don't have a bingo though.
We're going to mark off everything that we can to not have a
Besides get a
bingo.
bingo. Oh no. We have less than what? Now we're going to be doing our September book, so
Yeah.
we have 4 months to get a bingo. We got to figure it out.
So
Maybe
funny.
maybe our October one will do where we guess the ending, or you know, because that's we're probably gonna do a mystery thriller for October.
Yeah.
Hope maybe we'll get to cross that one off. I don't know,
Maybe.
but I think I introduced this last one. Do you want to introduce the next book?
So the next book that we're going to read, I've personally had some friends who have read it around my office at work, and then after they have started talking about it, I have excluded myself from conversations so that I don't cheat when trying to predict the synopsis here. Uh, but I've also been seeing this on TikTok, and it's the first book in a series. And so the book that we're going to be reading next is Red Rising by Pierce Brown.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, the cover doesn't give us much.
It does not. I'm going to assume that uh it's fantasy, so I'm going to assume that either there is like winged fae or like maybe birds are like a prevalent symbol in this
Like
book.
in the Hunger Games, with the Mockingjay being
Maybe that's
prevalent.
what I'm basing it off of. I'm like, Red Rising. There's a war.
Yeah, I, I feel like that's it. Yeah.
The
So
cover is
basically,
literally black with one red wing.
yep.
And so,
So like
oh, but
red. So
maybe it's like it's fantasy. Like maybe they ride birds. and maybe it's like they're writers and like a rising, as in like there's a war and they're going to, what is that called? Like a rebellion?
Maybe. The
I don't know.
There's
That
a
sounds a
quote
lot
from,
like Star Wars, honestly.
yeah, yeah. When I hear Red Rising, I'm gonna sound so lame because it's totally nothing related to it. But I just think of Red Redemption. And it's, again, totally nothing even close to it because Red Redemption is like country.
Yeah, see, red makes me think either faction or blood.
Yeah, and I don't read that many fantasies, so I'm not going to be good with guessing anything
Yeah.
in the fantasy
Well,
realm.
I'm like, what else? It says, oh, oh my gosh. So on the book, I just made the picture bigger. On the book, it says Book One of the Red Rising trilogy. And in quotations, it says one heart pounding ride from
But
Entertainment Weekly. I'm
yeah,
like,
so that could even be either be a play on words,
I
like
know.
it's
That's why I'm
a
like,
pounding
ooh,
ride,
maybe I'm right.
or
Maybe
like,
they do ride bird or eagle of some sort.
yeah, or it could be a pounding ride in the fact of like a ride of reading your book. Like it
Yeah,
was a journey to
yeah.
read it.
Or
And
maybe they
it has,
did that because it's both.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping, I'm hoping this isn't the bingo where it says the cover doesn't make sense because it doesn't give us much.
No,
So,
but also if you look at the books in the trilogy, they're all like roughly the same, just different colors. Like same vibe, I guess.
yeah, the second one is Golden Sun, and it's, let me pull this up. It looks like it's
Like one of those
fire.
like leaf things.
Yeah, we're gonna sound so stupid, and it's on fire.
We're gonna
And then the
sound so
one
stupid. The leaf things being like old, what, like
I'm thinking of,
Greeks used to like wear on
yeah,
their heads.
yes,
Um, and then the other one is Morning Star, and it looks like part of a building where like the sun is peering over it almost.
that does not look like a building. That looks like one of
I'm
those.
also looking at like a really small picture.
It's one of those like sword hook things.
Oh, a scythe.
Thank you.
Yep.
I don't know what those were called. Yeah. And then the
Yep.
fourth book is called
There's a
Iron.
there's a fourth book. It says book one of a trilogy.
This says? Yeah, it says Red Rising Saga number 4, Iron Gold.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's a feather on fire.
If you need proof that we don't look this up ahead of time.
And then there's also book 5. There's 7? There's it says seventh and final book is they're supposed
Oh,
it's coming in 2026. This last book is.
wow.
Book 5 is called Dark Age and it's 2 black snakes. Book 6 is Lightbringer and it's a golden horse. That's oh shoot.
What?
This gives it away. They ride flying horses.
Okay. Like Pegasus?
I think so, because book 6 is a horse that has wings on it. It's a
Okay.
golden horse with wings called Lightbringer.
Okay. Interesting. So yeah,
Dang
Red
it.
Rising, fellas and gals.
Which is crazy that it says I can't speak.
Trilogy.
Trilogy. Book 1 of the Red Rising trilogy. And then there's going to be 7 books, which means, in my mind, so the book 3 was published in 2016, and then book 4 was published in 2018. Let me just start from the beginning. Book 1 is 2014, 2 2015, 3 2016, and then 4 is 18, 5 is 19, 6 is 23, and Red Gold expected in 26.
So I wonder if it's like small trilogies from the same world.
I have no idea.
I don't know. We're going to find out. Maybe. Maybe not, because we're only reading the first book.
Yeah, you won't, you know, it's fine.
If I love it, I will probably binge the rest. But
Yeah, knowing you, you will. We'll see.
all right. Well, that concludes our
Today's
podcast.
episode. Very, very glad we finally had a book where we gave such a good rating to.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy about it.
Me too. Anyways, join us for September when we do Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And make sure you're following us on our social media. Basically just Instagram, because we're terrible at TikTok. And I post all the time on our Instagram account. So
Terrible. It's okay. It's just a lot of work.
yeah, I think we say this every time. We hate making videos.
Yeah. We'll get there.
It's
Eventually.
fine.
One day.
But our Instagram's almost to 100 followers, and I think we talked about possibly doing a giveaway once we get to 100. So
Yippers,
make sure you go
peppers.
follow us on our Instagram page so we can get to that. So, anyways, thank you for joining us, and have a good day, guys. Bye. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the To Be Read podcast, where we reviewed Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. Join us next time as we discuss Red Rising by Pierce Brown.